Matter and Motion Quarter 3 Exam 1. Which describes the potential and kinetic energy of the pendulum at position X. Capital X. A. Potential energy is at its lowest and kinetic energy is at its lowest. B. Potential energy is at its highest and kinetic energy is at its lowest. C. Kinetic energy is at its highest and potential energy is at its lowest. D. Kinetic energy is at its highest and potential energy is at its highest. 2. Potential energy is dependent on A. Acceleration and kinetic energy. B. Speed and height. C. Time and mass. D. Mass and height. 3. A tightly sealed glass box has a mass of 20,000 grams and contains a 5-gram cube of ice, making the total mass 20,005 grams. The box with the ice is placed in direct sunlight. After 3 hours, the box appears to be empty, with just small droplets along the sides of the box. Which statement describes the mass of the sealed box after sitting in the sun? A. The mass decreases because the ice melted into a liquid. B. The mass increases as the gases inside the box absorb energy and expand. C. The mass remains the same as the ice melts and then evaporates. D. The mass increases as the water vapor condenses into small droplets on the glass. 4. All forms of energy are a combination of A. Mechanical energy and chemical energy. B. Chemical energy and kinetic energy. C. Potential energy and thermal energy. D. Potential and kinetic energy. 5. Thermal energy makes particles A. Become more attracted to each other. B. Get bigger in size. C. Remain the same. It does nothing to the particles. D. Vibrate, or move around more, and farther apart. 6. Which of the following would be the most appropriate tool used to measure mass? A. Ruler. B. Thermometer. C. Scale. D. Graduated cylinder.
Use the following information to answer questions 7 through 9. Toy car race. Ms. Williams' science class uses a toy car race to study and collect data about forces and motion. The racetrack shown has a 6-meter ramp and a 5-meter level section to the finish line. 2 cars compete at a time. The data table and graph below show the speed and total distance traveled for car 1 and car 2 during the first 3 seconds of a race.
On what section of the racetrack will the forces on the cars be balanced? A. The starting block. B. The ramp only. C. The level section after the ramp. D. The entire track. 8. At what point on the track does a car reach its fastest speed? A. Halfway down the ramp. B. At the bottom of the ramp. C. Halfway down the level section. D. At the finish line. 9. The data table and graph show speeds and distance during a race between car 1 and car 2. In your answer document, state which car won the race. Provide support to explain why your answer is correct. 2 points.
Use the following information to answer questions 10 and 11. Motion diagram. The graph below shows the position of a car in motion along an east-west road over a period of 10 minutes. The car's position is recorded at 1-minute intervals. At time equals 0, the car's position is at the starting point.
What is the car's motion relative to the starting point at time equals 8 minutes? A. The car is at rest at the starting point. B. The car is in motion at the starting point. C. The car is moving toward the starting point. D. The car is moving away from the starting point. 11. What is the total distance the car traveled after 10 minutes? A. 600 meters. B. 1,200 meters. C. 2,000 meters. D. 3,600 meters. 12. Whether a substance is a solid, a liquid, or a gas depends on how close its atoms are to one another and A. The volume of each atom. B. How much matter the atoms have. C. How free the atoms are to move. D. The size of the container. An atom is A. Made up of several compounds bonded together. B. Made up of several molecules bonded together. C. The largest unit of matter. D. The smallest unit of matter. 14. In your answer document, describe the movement of particles in a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Given the same substance, with the exception of water, which would be the most dense? 4 points. 15. A steel ball will sink when placed in water, whereas a wooden ball the same size will float. The reason is because A. Steel is more dense than water and wood. B. Water is more dense than steel and wood. C. Steel is more dense than water, but less dense than wood. D. Steel is less dense than both water and wood. 16. Two hydrogen atoms bond with an oxygen atom to form water. Water is an example of A. An element. B. An atom. C. A compound molecule. D. A mixture. 17. The attraction of liquid particles. A. Is stronger than the attraction of particles in gases and solids. B. is weaker than the attraction of particles in gases and solids. C. Is not important when discussing the states of matter. D. Is weaker than the attraction in solids, but stronger than the attraction in gases. 18. In your answer document, draw and label 2 containers like the ones shown below. In each of the containers, draw pictures of particles or atoms before and after they are heated. Think about both the spacing of the atoms and the amount of motion. 2 points. Before heating, after heating.
A ball is released from rest at position 1. The diagram shows the ball in 4 positions as it rolls along a track from left to right. In which position does the ball have its minimum gravitational potential energy and maximum kinetic energy? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4?
20. Sound waves travel the fastest through which state of matter? A. Solid. B. Liquid. C. Gas. D. Oxygen. Use the diagram below to answer questions 21 and 22. It shows 3 forces placed on a box that a man is pushing. 21. What is the force labeled Y that is pushing down on the box? A. Friction. B. Contact. C. Wind. D. Gravity. 22. What is the force labeled X that is pulling against the contact force? A. Friction. B. Contact. C. Wind. D. Gravity.